that odious stench? Smells like...
Hey there, you're watching Hymns of My Wake. I'm Jacob. Yeah, let's talk about some records. I figured it was time for me to stop procrastinating. I've been meaning to make this video for about 2 or 3 weeks now. Just kept getting home from work, whatever, and really, you know, once I got settled in for the day, I didn't really feel like recording a video, but here we are. In hopefully the better year of 2021. Yeah, I got a collection update for you, but you probably already know that based on the title. If I put it in the title, I don't know. We'll fucking cross that bridge when we get there. Anyways, in the background, we got the 2020 release from Stormkeep, Galdrum. Yeah, I know a lot of people are really getting on this band right now because I think it has the drummer of Wayfarer. I think it has members of Wayfarer and Blood Incantation. Maybe the same guy, I'm not sure. I didn't do my fucking research beforehand to double check that. And I'm also not a Blood Incantation fan. You know, I listen to him a little bit. I don't have anything in my collection, but that's besides the point. Yeah, this I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty solid album. I'll mention it in my end of the year list. It's not gonna be it's not a top tier album, but I think it's solid. I'll give it a few listens. I know a lot of people have this pretty high up. It's not. I think it might be a little overhyped. It's worth picking up if you're into this, you know, style of black metal. But I don't think it's a must own for everybody, basically. But yeah, see what you think of it. If you can hear it in the background throughout the video, which you should, because I try and make that possible. Anyways, one second, I gotta grab something. Sorry. Yeah. So, to start, Blood Music has been basically getting ready to close up, and they're basically just finishing out their contracts they have with bands. So they've been doing these rounds of, you know, warehouse cleanouts where I don't know, it seems a little sketchy to me what's going on, but I don't know enough to know if these guys, they don't seem like the kind of label that would be shady at all. You know, they have all their stuff on Bandcamp for free, so it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me why they keep finding, you know, copies of stuff in their warehouses of, you know, like rare out of press stuff. I don't know if they're just poorly organized, what have you. You know, I understand you have to hold back a few records on when you first release something, you know, for damages and whatever lost to have replacements. But, you know, to have them 5 years later, I don't know. It's a little weird to me, but I'm just going to put it to poor management. But, yeah, anyways, they're going out of business in the next year, so they're slowly phasing out, not accepting new bands, just finishing out contracts they have with current bands. But, yeah, they're doing warehouse cleanouts, finding old stuff, and they've had these rounds of sales. I think they're on their 4th round. They called it their final one. We'll see if they find anything else. I picked up 2 records from it. First up, this box set from Ghost. It's titled Non Paradisi. Yeah, this was released in, I believe, 2016. Ghost is a darkwave band. Some of their releases incorporate a little bit of like metal, a little bit of metal sounds. This is Non-Paradisi. I mentioned that. This isn't the first one I would go with if I was, checking out Goss for the first time, I'd go with Behemoth, but this one's pretty good. It's has more of a atmosphere to it rather than, being right up in your face, I think is the best way to describe it. The box set comes with the Secret Arcana demo. I think this is all on black, so I'm just gonna, won't show the actual records, just the sleeves and stuff in here. Really dig the artwork. You can kind of get a feel what they're about with their artwork. It's pretty occult and like satanic type stuff. Just in a non-metal presentation, I guess, that we're usually accustomed to. But yeah, I really dig Gost. Here's the main record. It's a 2 LP. More of that killer artwork. The back. Yeah, this I think it's a one-man project, based out of the U.S. If you're familiar with Perturbator, this is kind of in a similar vein. I feel Perturbator has a little more of a more, what would you say, like a more 80s soundtracky feel. I mean, they're not completely that way, they're just a little more that way than Gost. Gost is a little more into the occult realm. But yeah, picked that one up. And then the other album I picked up what's actually my third copy of Astronoid Air. Yeah, some people don't do the multiple albums. I will for my absolute favorite records, especially different variants. I'm not gonna pick up every variant. I got my first one. It was just a standard black, and then one of the earlier sales, around 1 or 2, they had one of the first press variants, and then this time they had a different first press variant. So I picked up both of those. This one is this blue and white splattery look. Goes really well with the album. A lot of times first presses, their color schemes on the color variants match better with the album covers. I know some labels you really go crazy with their different variants, and by the time you're on like 6th or 7th press, you got like a black album cover with red and blood and gore or whatever you have, and then you pull out a hot pink record that doesn't fucking go with it. But yeah, anyways, Astronoid, one of my all-time favorite records. One of the records that helped me transition into the more extreme side of metal. This is kind of a post-black meets prog meets I don't know, kind of a proggy post-black, but that doesn't really do it justice. You really have to listen to this to get the full effect of what Astronoid is. Yeah, that's that one. Next up, we have a Canadian band. This is Triskel. I got this along with some cassettes from Winter Sky Records, or Winter Sky something. That's a little newer, real small label out of Canada. They specialize in like the atmospherics and the atmospheric pagany, black metal, especially being Canadian. They kind of do the whole metal noir Quebecois type stuff, and that's kind of what realm this is in. Actually, this was just a distro copy. I think they only do cassettes, and then they have some distro stuff. So I ordered a box set of cassettes from them, and then I just tossed this in there because it looked good. This was actually put out on Hugin and Moonin Productions in 2016. Limited to 300 copies at like 35 right there. But it's pretty good, pagan black metal. But what's better than the actual music is these guys' cosplay abilities. Look at these guys. That's some A+ costume work. Show you some more of it. There's the insert. Ready for their quest to go out in the woods. But yeah, again, it's a solid album. Not necessarily something I would rush out to get. If you're really into Canadian black metal, pick it up. But otherwise, you might want to spend your money elsewhere. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. Next up, I did a Black Friday order with $20 spin. I'll show you a couple of the records. A couple you're gonna wait for another video for my end of year video. Yeah, the first one, forgive me, I'm gonna try to pronounce the band name and the album name, and as you can see, it's gonna be a real tongue twister. That's the album title right there. The band title is Tezcatlipoca, and the album title is Tleohultlapelani. Yeah, that was probably awful, but I tried. This is black metal out of Mexico. Folky, pagany black metal, but it's not anything like you're used to in that realm. This is based in like Aztec, Aztec lore. They use some classic Aztec instruments, and I believe all the lyrics and everything it's sung in the language, what remains of the language from back then. This is an Iron Bonehead release. It was released in 2018. Yeah, real cool stuff. Really worth checking out. Yeah, it's just there. I really dig that artwork there, like the cover. There's the band. Yeah, I highly, if you're into black metal, I highly recommend checking this one out. Let me get this put out of the way, and then we'll talk about a bit of a classic band, a not so classic album. Unfortunately, it's the only album I own from these guys. This is, gothic, early gothic doom metal, more on the gothic side. The Gathering, Almost a Dance. This would be a really good record. It's a good record, but it'd be a really good record with a different vocalist. That's really the downfall of this album. yeah. Then I picked this one up from 20 bucks spin. I think I paid $10 for it, so figured it was worth a listen. I knew The Gathering a little bit, so I hadn't heard this one before. I picked it up for 10. Figured I'd check it out. Yeah, it's not something I'll reach for a lot. Instrumentally, really good. Vocally, not so much. It's still listenable, but the vocals definitely hold it back. A while back, Justin, Vestmon's Blood Box, did a collection update, and he talked about this one. One sec. He talked about this one, and so he said he mentioned that it was still somewhat readily available for a decent price. Being one of my favorite bands, I figured I'd check out the market for it, because I'd been meaning to pick this up. This is Swallow the Sun, Songs from the North, parts 1, 2, and 3. The 5 LP set. So I went and looked for it. It was actually starting to get harder to find. There were a few copies on like Amazon, but I would have ordered from there, but then I went on Discogs and I found this copy for about $10 cheaper than what Amazon was selling it for. So I pulled the trigger. Just pull them out here. Set that aside for now. Gotta start with number 1. I don't think it has printed sleeves or anything. It does have like a lyric sheet in each, but I'm not gonna bother pulling them out because I shouldn't have taken that one out at all, because it was a pain in the butt to get back in. Yeah, just a classic Swallow the Sun album. Some people, don't care for this one too much because it's a triple album. It's long-winded, but it's got some of my favorite songs on here. Part 2. Part 3. Each part kind of treads into a different, area of doom. Between the classic, like your classic death doom sound to a more kind of ambient doomy sound, and then into like a funeral doom sound. Yeah. What songs aren't here? I think my favorite part is part 1, Gloom. Songs like Tin Silver Bullets, Rooms and Shadows, Heartstring Shattering, Lost and Catatonic, all super good songs. But yeah, definitely pick this up if you can find it. Even pick it up on CD. I know that's pretty easy to find. But I'd put that in my top 3 Swallow the Sun's albums between that one, New Moon, and The Morning Never Came. I think that's the name of that one. Yeah. It's actually the only one of those 3 that I own. I'm working on picking up the others. Actually have New Moon on the way. And then I just have to track down The Morning Never Came. I hope I'm not remembering the name of that one wrong. I'd look like a jackass. But anyways, this next one I picked up from Sentient Ruin, and it's Rotting Sky Sedation, and this sounds like what you would expect from a Sentient release. Chaotic, noisy, black metal is basically all you can say about it. Yeah, super cool album. It was originally put out in 2014 on Tape Label. I forgot the name of the label, but they were they shut down. They closed down shortly after they put this out in 2014. So it kind of went under the radar at that time, from what I could read up about it. And then in 2018, 2018, Sentient Ruin was able to talk with it's a solo one-man project, I believe. They were finally able to talk him into re-releasing it with them. But yeah, based out of Portland, Oregon, the artist is Rotting Sky. Yeah, check that one out. It's a pretty cool album. I think it's pretty affordable on Discogs, so don't be worried to check it out on the fact that you won't be able to find it. I think there was like, because I kind of shot myself in the foot. I blind bought it because I got a notice from Sentient Ruin on Bandcamp that they had found a couple copies of things they put up, and you know that stuff goes like that when they put it up. So I saw that, and like one copy, bought it right away. I'm like, I've dug everything I've ever bought from Sentient Ruin. At least I can remember. I would dig almost everything I get from them. So yeah, I pulled the trigger immediately. So I figured it's out of print. It's going to be hard to find. If I don't like it, I can, get my money back by selling it on Discogs. Went over to Discogs, and I paid about $5 more than what people are selling it for on there, and there's like 5 or 6 copies available. So check it out if you're interested. There's copies out there. Next up, one of the greatest band names ever. We've got Thrasquatch. Pull this out. This is Thrasquatch, Axe to Inherit. I think you guys kind of don't really need me to tell you what this is about. This is a California, I believe California, thrash band. Party thrash, as you can kind of tell. I'm sure you can tell. Kind of reminds me of Municipal Waste, that type of thing. Yeah, I'm not super well versed in my thrash, especially newer thrash, but I think it's a good listen. I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest thing ever, but it might be a pile of turd if you're a thrash head or whatever. But yeah, it's an enjoyable listen to me. Of course, I'm a big squatcher, so anything with Mr. Foot on it, I'm gonna grab no matter what. Unless it's completely awful, then I won't go for it. But I enjoy it. All right, everything else I got here is from my local record store. We'll start off with Mr. God himself, Dio. This is the Record Store Day release of this Dream Evil picture disc. It's got Dream Evil on side A and Naked in the Rain on side B. Both tracks were recorded live at Donington in '87. Yeah, super cool. I'm probably gonna eventually get it to frame. I got this and one other Dio picture disc that I'm probably gonna frame up and hang in here somewhere. Yeah, that's super cool art on there. There's a few other Dio picture discs that I want to pick up and just to frame. Did listen to this one a couple times. Sound quality is real good on it. Next up, before I recorded this, I actually was watching Nick over at Deathlike Reviews, his first collection update of 2021. If you're not subscribed to Nick, go subscribe. Deathlike Reviews, super good channel. Really enjoy what he puts out. But yeah, this is he talked about a couple of these guys' albums. This is, I'd have to mention, he did mentioned this album. I think he mentioned it's their best, and he butchered the album title. Come on, Nick. Got to be better than that. But yeah, this is Primordial, Where Greater Men Have Fallen. Irish black metal. Really unique in that they don't really have harsh vocals. It's more of a clean style. Yeah, I don't know really how to... They've got a very pagan-y feel to it. I think is the best way to describe it. This is probably my favorite release of theirs to date. Yeah, the songs were Greater Men Have Fallen and Battle's Tower, Ghosts of the Charnel House. Those are really, really good songs. Yeah, I would put this album as almost an essential own for black metal, or really most fans of extreme metal to own. Really, really dig this. I'll take care of that later. Moving on. Talking about record store day stuff. We got this. Record Store Day presents Decibel, Completely Extreme Volume 1. That's a little compilation with 10 tracks. Bands like got Napalm Death, Red Fang, Sirith Ungol, Undergang, Drouth, Necrot, Wolf King, Incantation, Plague Years, and Woman is the Earth. And I think it's been a while since I've listened to a lot of these. I don't know if you can tell. Probably can from the rust I have in talking about them, remembering them. Yeah, what I remember, you gotta stop blocking the mic. I know, Jeff, you had some sound issues. I know I had, and you're the only one that mentioned it. Well, there was one other guy in the comments. Anyways, I'm rambling. No, my last video had some sound issues, so gotta keep that mic clear. Hopefully this one turns out better. Anyways, what I was going to say is, if I'm remembering right, the last song on each side were my favorites. Drouth, The Crown of Asphodels. Need to dig into them a little deeper. That's the only song of theirs I've heard. Need to go back and check out more of their stuff. And then Woman is the Earth, The Rope Gets Tighter. I have two Woman of the Earth, I think their first two albums, and this and Rick from the Dreadful Minutes reminded me that I need to go back and check them out, and I should have two more releases from them on the way, so watch for those in future updates. Talk a little more about them. Let's see what else. We have the debut EP from Dawn Raid, A Thorn, a Blight. Peeking out here, we got a nice blue vinyl on that. Yeah, this was their debut, I believe 2015 was when it came out. I don't know, they just put the year that this one was pressed. This is a 2020 repress. Yeah, Dawn Raid, I think most people know who they are. English, black metal, anti-fascist, anti-capitalist, whatever. Whether you agree with the politics or not, I think they have kick-ass music. Yeah, I really highly recommend checking out Dawn Raid. Their Behold Plainsong's Behold Sedition Plainsong. Might be pulling the Nick and butchering the album title, but yeah, that's a really good one. I recommend checking out that one. It's their newest full length that came out last year. I talked about it in my VCLT video. I will talk about it more in a future video that I have planned. But yeah, check that out. And then the last 12-inch for the video, we've got Darken Nocturne Slaughter Cult Nocturnal March. This was like $10 at the local store, so I blind bought it. I'd heard Trez talk about these guys quite a bit, quite highly, a couple times in his videos. So I snagged it, blind bought it. Yeah, super good. You know, I believe you'd call it second wave black metal. These guys are from Germany. Yeah, really well done second wave black metal. I don't know what more could really be said about it. If that's your thing, if you dig that style music, check this one out. Yeah, that was just on black. And then last one for the video. Wet my mouth real quick. We started with a non-metal album. We'll end with a non-metal album. This is the Utis Joe Og Any Skog EP of Monsters and Men. Of Monsters of Men are a kind of I think it's called chamber pop. It's kind of a folky pop style of music. These guys are based out of Iceland. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think this was put out before their first full length. It's got the 5 songs on here were all included on their full length. These guys are probably my favorite pop group. My favorite pop artists ever, perhaps. Well, Bee Gees might give them a run for the money in that department, but definitely my favorite modern pop group. Their two newest full lengths definitely I enjoy more than this and the first full length. I feel like they reached more of a emotional depth to their music, if that makes sense. That's how I feel about it. They hit me on a more emotional level, and their second full length is actually probably one of my, would be in my top 10 most important, most meaningful albums of my life. So if you have kind of an open mind about pop music and anything outside of metal, I would really recommend checking out Monsters and Men. Look for the second album, or the third, either the album that has the white and the black cover or the album with the pink cover. Those are my two favorites. But anyways, Happy New Year. Let's hope that we can start to return to some normalcy this year. Hope for the return of live music. Really been missing concerts. Yeah. Well, we better call this a video. I'm going on 35 minutes about, so we will see you guys next time. I will try not to make it, so long next time. I'm planning on really starting to crank these out regularly. So we will see you guys next time.